Hello together. My name is Tim Meckerle. I'm the CEO from Avesi, and while we're still waiting that some people will join this session, maybe this is the time to give a rough summary about myself and about the company Avesi, and then we'll step right into a very exciting solution. It's about the asset inventory service. So again, maybe let's start in my person. So my name is Tim Meckerle. I'm 46 years old. I'm married, have 4 children. And I'm having the responsibility here at Avesi as CEO. We are at about 90 employees now, and yeah, are looking in a very exciting future. So in the end, this product or this presentation won't be about version dog, but about a very interesting add-on, and it's called the Asset Inventory Service. So in the end, maybe just to set the stage for this add-on, just again some words about Avesi, where we came from, what we're doing, and then in the end taking the bridge to our new add-on. So in the end, just here you see what we are doing. So who's not really familiar with Avesi, just in a short word, we are the world-leading provider for data management solution for the shop floor. And looking at the number 19 employees, I just have to make a correction here, and it's a very big correction because those slides were created now a couple of weeks ago, and just to show you the impact on changes and how we're just growing. The true number today would be 130 employees. Why? Because the team of Avesi now has side aside a new team. It's the MDT team, so our former competitor and Avesi, as a former competitor MDT, and we as Avesi just decided to go side by side. So in the end, I just have to admit it's an old slide. Together, the team of Avesi and MDT bring up the biggest development team for just one solution, and it is data management in the shop floor. So talking about data management in the shop floor, what exactly do we mean? And just again to set the stage to the asset inventory service, this is what you see here is in short what and how we understand data management. It's gathering all information which we can find in the shop floor, and all information means it's the programs, the configuration, the parameters. It's even the PDF files, the Excel files, the documentations, and whatever you have in a digital format can be handled by our data management solution. And bringing then the information down to some certain features. It's, for example, that we create automated or backups, that we have the change history of all changes. And in the end, we focus down on solving the answer for you, who changed what, when, where, and why. And providing in the same way the idea of reducing machine downtime, creating a higher transparency for every change which is done, so we reach out for the compliance part and for the audit trail stuff. And in the end, it's just simple, again, having the documentation of everything what's there. And in the end, again, this is where the systems are coming from, to say collecting data and bringing it together in one database. And now, and this is the game-changing thing, if you look into that, what we can present here. So we're very proud to present the asset inventory service. So remember, as the product data management and shop floor, we can create automated or backups. And then just keep in mind, so somewhere the backups are. So we have the data in a house. So the next idea was now to say, what can we do with this data? And this is exactly what it's all about. We take this data we have in our database and then open it up to find out what is in the data. And we focus down on certain questions. It is, do you know the equipment which you have in front of your or in your shop floor? The next question is, if you know which equipment do you have, do you know exactly all assets? Do you know the firmware? Do you know the current state? Do you know if there might be some assets which maybe are not yet under management of the data management system? And this is the part where we step in to say, if your current way to do this is Excel, or maybe a couple of Excels, I think that we have here a mind-blowing solution, and the name is Asset Inventory Service. And we just take this task of bringing it into one circle. So the first step is we focus on an automated detection of all assets. And the basic question here is, what is an asset? So in the end, looking at version dog, it is the idea that we manage the program data for a PLC, but now we hand this data over to our asset inventory service, and there we do an extraction of the hardware configuration. We do this in the background on the server, and this is a way how we can create or automatically detect the assets and bring it up to your view as one list. The next point is, and now this is where it's getting very interesting, is we match all found assets. So the company name, the type of the device and everything else, we match this information to all known CVEs. So we selected a partner who's just doing exactly that, finding out all known vulnerabilities, having them in one database, and we cooperated with this partner. The partner is called MDT, not MDT, sorry, not only MDT, no, the partner is called Clarity. And again, Clarity just brings in all information to match every found asset to the known vulnerabilities which are published by the vendors themselves. And in the end, this comes again to the third step, that we give the chance to manage everything. Now, in the history, there was the story that there was one PLC, which was came into the social media and to the news because of a very critical vulnerability, a kind of a discovered weakness. And in the end, the news were quite loaded with this information. So be careful. If you have this device, then you have to do an update on the hardware. And the only question I would like to hand in now to you is the question, how did you know if you had this device? And the question again, did you know which hardware did you have in your production area? And the next question is, again, if you knew that you had it, how did you react? So the basic idea is you said, okay, let's go and do some updates. And the very interesting part on doing the updates again, the next question is, when or how did you know that you were finished with doing all the updates? Or how did you notice that there was a positive progress and really patching up the weaknesses and making your shop floor more and more secure? So this is again what we understand under the asset management. And then we come back again to asset detection. So as soon as you create new data, as soon as you change your projects, as soon as you have new projects, and as soon as you bring them into the data management system, in the end, the assets will again be extracted automatically, brought up into everything what you know. So it's not only the PLC, it's even the record slots, it's everything what's behind the PLC. So for example, the Profinet, Profibus is every actor and sensor, everything is there. And again, it's coming to the matching of what are known risks, sorry for that. And again, you have a chance to see something, and that's exactly what we show you in a live demo very soon. But this is exactly what we have as the add-on asset inventory service powered by Clarity. So maybe before I go to the live demonstration, I just want to step in with one story, because the basic part, and this is what you need to understand, is that the solution is based on the data which are on the devices which are under management in version dog. And then in the end, as soon as you do the check-in or the automatic jobs or whatever you're doing, then in the background, we, or the asset inventory service, extracts the asset information and then brings it into the system I just explained. However, the first idea of the Alvesi team was not to take this directly as the offline way. It seemed to be too simple, but in the end, we found out that's the best way. But how did we start? Alvesi had the idea to implement an active scanning routine. So the idea of placing a piece of software somewhere in your shop floor, pressing a button, waiting 20 minutes, then we would take a brute force ping sweep, detecting every device which would answer, and then we would go again with further requests to find out which device or what device it is, and again to bring down a list on what is in your network environment, what is in your shop floor, and then in the end taking the same idea to say, look, this is what you have, and so on. The basic point is, or the basic message is, we started the implementation, and the next step is we were successful. So we had a tool and we launched it for some kind of pilot tests. And the only thing we recognize is, as soon as we launched off this small piece of code, a lot of the IT people were sitting in my back and just asking me when we start with the active scanning. Then they turned off all security mechanisms for the network. Then I was able to scan a couple of minutes. And then as soon as I was finished, they opened or turned on again all safety measurements for the network control. Why? And this is the point where we came down to the clue is, yeah, it is a great solution. It's very good for demonstration purposes, but we found out it's maybe very hard to launch off an active ping sweep, an active network broadcast messaging, maybe every evening in your shop floor, because some devices just might break down. And the other thing is, it's a lot of network traffic. So this was the point where we stepped away from the active scanning to say this is the best solution, and found out that in the end, the database of VersionDoc already had all information we needed. And this was really the game-changing setting. So how does it work now together with the asset inventory service? It's quite easy. I'll show you. So this is your shop floor. And VersionDoc, the data management system, is in place. And by the way, it can already be exchanged with autosave. So they are, again, in the same way to do the same. Now, however, VersionDoc is here in place, and you do whatever you do all the time. So it's about automated backups, change management, version history, documentation. But if you now look on the extension of creating an automated environment, the solution is very simple. So every time there's a check-in, a commit, or a backup, which is stored or brought down to the centralized database of VersionDoc, we hand over the data in the background to our inventory service. And the inventory service now extracts all asset information, detects the changes in kind of hardware, equipment stuff, matches it to the known vulnerabilities, then detects or creates a risk score and gives this again as a view back to you. And just taking it in a kind of time estimation, it just depends again how big the projects are. We're talking here of a couple of minutes. And again, it would be an ongoing maintenance of your asset lists by while working the way you're used to work with VersionDoc. The list will be managed, updated, and again, new risks could be detected immediately, and everything without having a hard or big load on the network. And in the end, since we have a very strong partner with Clarity, this is already a point that the stage is prepared, that you can enhance this cybersecurity mechanism of detecting the current weaknesses in your shop floor by further tools from Clarity, which are again more deeper in the cybersecurity part. So, for example, you can detect or you can enhance the asset inventory service by the functionality of passive scanning, which means a kind of listening to the network traffic. And again, just one step back, is those are the core features of Clarity. We can make a connection for you. You already have, with the inventory service, the stage set to go into a new ecosystem, and it's seamlessly. So in the end, this is a kind of a way how you could set up step by step more and more cybersecurity. And again, coming back to VersionDoc or Besi, is that we provide this from one hand. It's the inventory service, and in the end, this is what you can get from Obesi, and the stage is set to go more into cybersecurity details for Clarity or some other features. Okay, how does it look like? So in the end, if this is the way how it theoretically looks like, this is the way how it looks practical. So you have some data, it is everything web driven, so you already have the kind of idea to see the data all the time. But in the end, again, we learned And the basic part is that we are facing into a new future of the Helvesi. It is that we are going, and the idea of that we have the data, we go into a way of that we will normalize the data, and then we will provide again into an API, enabling you to use the idea of BI, taking this information out of our systems. So what you see here is just the way we offer how you can see the information, but completely new is that the inventory service is already established with a full-blown REST API that you can grab all information you see here and then again bring it back into one of your systems to do some kind of data processing. And this is already what we launched in a couple of customer sites. Really, the idea is that we can see it the way we show it here, but the customers who already use the solution takes this for a kind of a quick check and then goes again on an automatic idea to say, let's go in the background into the database, use the API, and then take this information and bring it to a new system or a further system which is already established, for example, for equipment. So this is the idea. And just keep in mind, yeah, we have here the openness for REST interface and export of JSON files and CVs. Okay, so this, okay, I will skip this and I just show it in live, I think. Yeah, maybe again the report. Yeah, I showed it live, maybe. So let's come to the live demo. Live demo. I'll open up my browser and open up the asset inventory service. And it looks like, sorry, yeah, like this. So in the end, it's not really mind-blowing what you see here because it's an empty database. And I just want to show you now how it works in real time. So just here, an empty installation of the inventory service. Then I have something here, which is a kind of, oops, sorry. It's a kind of version doc. I have some data here. Now just imagine, what I would do is now just a quick launch off of a change, but in the end, just imagine now somebody's working here and in the end has done some changes, has done some adoptions and stuff like that, and creates a new version and says, okay, this was an update, and commits it as new version. So this is the way how version doc works. So nothing new. So, and this is now the very interesting part to say, if I move this now to the side and pick up, sorry, here, the inventory service. So while I'm talking now, the project is brought to the server. The server detects or hands it over to an asset inventory service. The asset inventory service creates the hardware extraction, and voila, what you see is now a real-time analysis of a yeah, okay, let's be honest, of a small tier project. And you see there's still some changes. So again, what you just can keep in mind is, in the end, you did nothing special, but the inventory service already created out of one tier project. Here, for example, the 5 assets which were involved. And again, it's a very small project. We ran some customer projects where they just handed in one tier project, for example, project, and there were 80 assets. And that's exactly what it's all about. So it's not about how many components do we have in version doc. It's really exactly what is configured in the hardware configuration. And now the point of the traceability begins. So let's step into this CPU. So this is the information. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So this is the information you can see. So in the end, which devices, who's the vendor, and very interesting, what is the firmware, what's the model type, how can you order it, the order number, and some kind of information. Where did this where's the data set coming from? So the link back again to the version doc is already included in this. Okay, so this is only a kind of overview, giving you some kind of more experience, and that is how is the rack and slot part. So you can already see how is the hardware set up in rack and slots. So you can see every I/O and I/O group, I/O hardware and stuff like that. And again, you have for everything the firmware, the hardware, the model type, and everything else. And now stepping over that we have this information here in the inventory service, we create immediately on the fly the risk score of this type or of this PLC, of this hardware part, matching the known information, which is vendor, type, firmware, with all critical vulnerabilities which are published and gathered in a global database. And again, this database is brought or is available at your shop floor. So everything what you see here will be on-premise, 100% on-premise, not in the cloud. And the question is now, how can we update the database? Yeah, it's a kind of way that you have to pull in the new database maybe once a month from the cloud into the shop floor, or you take a service and say, okay, I connect directly to the cloud, but it's up to you. And in the end, everything what you see here is a current result of the risk score matched from the known weaknesses which are on the market. And here you see kind of a norm score, how big is the threat. So if you have the 10, which would be the really high critical incidents, and then you have 1, which just is okay, it's a known issue, but maybe not so critical. So again, looking just at one piece of hardware, this is what you exactly get now, without even scanning the network, without even matching with your Excel. So you have every answer here. And again, now it's your turn to create the activities from here. And imagine you want to say, okay, I will do an update on this CPU, on this part. So you go into the PLC project, do some kind of patching the hardware configuration, patching the hardware in real. And in the end, it will end up that you have a new project which has the new hardware equipment. And as soon as you check it in, consider this vulnerability as handled. And it's exactly the way how you will see it. So in the end, it's not only about detecting the weaknesses, but even helping you to track down how far are you? So how many devices would you have to change? So you can have some kind of overview of the global risk score, maybe a local risk score, maybe some kind of, let's make a plan when to do the patch time period, time zone, time window. And so this is the way again. And this is exactly what we offer. And the basic part, and that's already where the show is over from the live demo. The basic part is maybe the question, how do you do it at the moment? And if you consider, or if you say you're working Excel at the moment, or you have a kind of a list where you keep it updated manually, or you have some people who are just running around doing that, I just recommend consider this solution and just imagine what would appear here if you would not take the demo data from my lab, but more the real projects you have, and bringing up with maybe 3 minutes from a big PLC project, 80, 90, 120 assets, and giving you a complete detail of every actor, sensor, Profinet device, switches, everything. And then again, coming back to the question, and what is with all the devices and assets which are not included in version doc? And this is again the point where we say, just let me go here back again, where we say, since we started our journey with the active scan idea, the active scan is still available in the asset inventory service. And it's the active scan again, powered by Clarity. So it's again much stronger as a feature. But in the end, this is the answer to say, we give away the active scan with the inventory service. You can test it. Our experience was it's good for a one-time shot, good for a yearly shot, good for a benchmarking, but maybe hard to implement it as a kind of a continuous scanning part. But in the end, this is your choice, and it's included in here as well. And on the other side is you have the chance to upload your Excel files to the inventory service as well. So in the end, we can even take all Excels and bring it back to one database. And maybe the last thing I would like to show again, coming back to here, is that if you see this asset list, here is what I meant to say. You are able to have it immediately ready as a CSV download, as a report download, and everything what I do now here by clicking manually, for example, downloading just record slots parts, you see how it worked. So this is now how it looks like. It's not really impressive, but it's just data. And in the end, this data can exactly be assessed in the background by your systems using a safe API, accessing all this information, what you saw here. And this again could bring you into some kind of situation to say, take this information and match it with your stock. take this information and match it or bring it into your ERP, maybe to automate some kind of other things. Take this information to find out which equipment will go into end of life or in the notice of end of service, and take this information just to generate a regional footprint of your techniques, which are used to find out, can we reduce the spare parts in your stock again? So a lot of ideas. And again, what do we offer? The asset inventory service, extracting hardware information of the data we have already. And this is already a kind of a glimpse into the future where we're going to. We call it the solution center. It's a data platform where you can have this information again as a view. But now coming back to the presentation, just a moment. Here is, while this is already a part of our future, of the asset management service, that will be involved even more seamlessly, that information already can be handed out and shared again directly in the version of system and things like that. Everything what you saw here now is this asset inventory service, which is available right now in the same way you saw it here. So you don't need the newest version doc. We recommend a version doc from a version 8.1, maybe 8.5. We released just a 9.0. Everything good. The only part is, again, the question is, are you interested in the system and would you like to try? And in the end, we found out that a lot of customers really just say, okay, I would like to try it. So I would like to see everything what I showed here in the webcast in real with my data. So how can you step to us and ask us? It's very easy. Get in contact with us. Then we'll consider if we just go for a POC. So we set up the system on your side. Another step could be is you provide us one data pack, and we just prepared here to show you what you can expect. But the really exciting step where we're just working on is that we are just preparing that we can set up the POC of this asset inventory service on your side, not now, but maybe end of October, that you just have to turn on one button, and then we could say, okay, we collect the information 2 weeks on your side. And then in the end, we just take this information and bring it to the view and extract it into the visualization you saw here, which again would give you a chance that we could run POCs without any resources on your side. And to be honest, that was the reason why we did it. And with less resources on our side, because at the moment, every POC is supported by us and supported by the Clarity team. So what we're doing is really we're moving from customer to customer, from side to side, creating the POCs. And just again to be here, frank on that is, we are not able now at the moment to really support 100 pilots or POCs for this system. So that's the point. Get in touch with us, and we would arrange a good time slot where we know, okay, this is where we can go for. But in the end, maybe we have the chance to launch off a kind of automated tests, which is just ready on your side, creating the data to show you in the end what we could bring out your shop floor or of your devices or projects. And it would be exactly, just step a step back, exactly a report like this, giving you the, I would say maybe the first time a full transparency where things should be considered. And again, the question, if your current idea is to take this manually using Excel is a really great tool, but in the end, we are talking here about automatically maintaining every information which is under management of version doc, to use this to keep the inventory or the automated created inventory up to date, detect the changes, and again match it with all vulnerabilities. So consider what you have and consider what you saw here, if this wouldn't be a great step into digitalization, standardization, and cybersecurity. And maybe the last slide to give you maybe some more arguments, but I think you saw already what I mean is we're talking about a single source of truth. It's one database, so the data is created from the exact data which is already in place because of the features and the functionality of version docs. So nothing has to be changed. Everything is there, and it's just one source we have to rely on, and not several persons, several Excels. The next part is, again, it's a great drive from the idea that we have automated backups as a kind of a fallback scenario to create more safety in the environment. And on the other side is that we now even have the idea to open up the information, or the idea of cybersecurity, not to only to have the backup, but even to have a kind of a prevention plan to see, look, there was a new discovery on a critical alert for one certain device, and we will show you that you should consider some actions to close this security gap. In the end, not immediately, but in the end, you will see it and you can plan it. And again, I think this is a good approach to be proactive and a way of making your environment more and more secure. So in the end, it ends up with, yeah, okay, well, we say more effectiveness because it's just created everything automatically. And the last point, of course, we consider that you will save a lot of money. And just imagine if we could just prevent one problem on your side using this system. I would predict that just preventing one cybersecurity issue would already bring back all investments you have done here. Yeah, so this is about the show, and this is what we offer. And in the end, this would be maybe the point if you would have some questions again. So maybe I just step in. The typical question is now, is everything Alvesi or is it Clarity? So the answer is, if you consider just that you have version dog and you don't have connections to Clarity and you don't have the software products from Clarity, then the asset inventory service is just a great next step, because everything will be delivered by us and you will get everything out of one hand. The other step is, again, that maybe you're running VersionDoc already very successfully in your shop floor, and you already run a Clarity product in your shop floor. And then again, consider that we have a solution that, again, will give you a cost-saving approach to say, if you have Clarity already and you have VersionDoc already, then the only thing you need is a kind of a Clarity Connect. And this, again, where you can just get in contact with our sales team, and we will support you to find the right way on that point. So in the end, if you have Clarity already, you don't have to buy it again. And I think this is a kind of a part to say, yeah, that we give you the two choices. We bring everything, or we connect to your existing system. So are there maybe some questions here? So if you have questions, maybe you just can type them in.
So Tim, currently I can't see any question in the chat. At the participants, if you have a question, please write it in the chat and we will clarify it during this session or after the session.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe I just give you some time and bring up some thoughts. So if everything what you saw here is interesting for you, again, what you just need is the POC for the asset inventory service. Get in contact with our team. Get in contact, if you're from the US, get in contact with MDT as well. No problem. We have the solution here, and it's exactly what you saw. And of course, to give you kind of a glimpse on where we're going to is the next versions will be that there will be a link on the VersionDoc pages, on the VersionDoc client. And if you click just this link, then we will open up immediately the risk score of the asset inventory service. So what we are now working on, that everything will be more and more combined, that you have the information and the jump points more seamlessly. So current work items are that as soon as you're looking at the asset inventory service and you see, okay, this seems to come from a component from VersionDoc, then you just click a link again, and then we will open again the user client in a direct way and pointing out, look, this asset came from this project. And so those are the points where we're moving at. And on the other side is, again, what we're working on, and what we saw already with the 9.0 coming into your shop floor is this We call it the solution center, the automation solution center. The idea to have one centralized database for all information, and everything what we have and gather here in the asset inventory service will be brought or is brought over to this database as well. So every information we create here will be available again for the Power BI tools we will provide for doing data mining, doing smart decision making, and are ready to that you can create your own dashboards later on. It's a different story. It's the Automation Solution Center, but in Automation Solution Center, if you look closely already, you will see this icon already ready to be launched soon to say that the asset inventory service will be included seamlessly there as well. But again, it's not the story to wait until then. You can have the solution already now.
Yeah. I have one question from the chat, Tim. Does the inventory service need an online connection to the internet?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Our strategy here is to say, in a kind of way, it's your choice. So the basic part is that this complete solution is able to run in the shop floor. The only part is that there needs to be a strategy how the CVE database will be updated. And the basic way, if everything is offline, so in your shop floor by security gates, then it is that you as operator have to download the database from the internet and bring it to your shop floor. And this is what you should do or have to do once a month. Okay, not have to, you should do it once a month just to keep up to date, to detect new weaknesses. The other way is if you're open for a cloud connection, then you just can say, okay, I don't want to have a local copy of the CVE database. I want to have a direct link to the most current CVE database. And then we will set up a kind of a connection to the global database. But in the end, it's only about getting the information of the known CVEs, which are changing from day to day. It's not that we publish this information to the cloud. If you choose to do so, it's your choice, and we will support you there as well.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Another point is about Clarity Connect. Please, could you give us more information about Clarity Connect?
Yeah, I can. The first step is that we have a fact sheet about that, taking everything together. So the basic difference between the asset inventory service and the Clarity Connect is that if we take the Clarity Connect, this is always comes into place as soon as a customer already has the Clarity system. And it doesn't make sense again then to set up a complete new twin system again, because it just would be double resources. So this is a kind of a way where we think this is a great service for our customers. So in the end, the Clarity Connect just says, okay, the installation of Clarity came out of Clarity Hand. The version doc installation came out of Ovasi Hand, and the Clarity Connect will come out of Ovasi Hand or out of Clarity Hand, but this is then where we set up the connection from our system to an existing installation. This is about Clarity Connect. And again, if you have a version doc and you saw what you just saw here and you're excited about that and you would like to try it, then I would assume, no, not what I would assume, I'm quite sure, as just get in contact with us. And then we're talking about the asset inventory service because we bring everything out of one hand into your place.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Currently, I can't see any more questions in the chat. From my side, thanks to everyone for the interesting webcast and the nice questions. And I wish you a nice working day.
Okay, so maybe I just thank you, Dominic, for helping me here, and again, thank you to the audience. It was really fun to presentate here what we can do for cybersecurity, and I just want to wish you a nice day. Thank you very much for your time, and get in contact with us, reach out for us, and we can help you to really get this solution running on your side with your data. So have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.